So let's get this ball rolling.
All right.
I can tell that could send us down a real dark path. That would
Yes,
be good.
it could.
That'd be good. We might have to just do that, like have you go
So
up here
back
for the middle
to
of football season.
I try really hard being a dog dad.
Yes.
I try really hard because so I actually started doing this drill about 5 years ago, writing down 10 dreams every day.
Okay.
And this was really beneficial for me because as an athlete, I was a check the box, run through the wall for the coach.
Yep.
Don't have to ask me twice person. So I was very checklisted that way, and I didn't like big picture dream a lot. I mean, yeah, I could say like, oh yeah, I wanted to go to the NFL when I was a kid, but like I didn't really dream about it because I knew I wasn't going. Right.
I understand.
Like
same.
The genetics are just not there.
Yep.
But so I started writing down my 10 dreams every day, and there were big ones that really helped me with the Iron Games, for example. Like I was still teaching. I hadn't started the Iron Games yet, or I hadn't even gotten into working with the summer games where I could do that. And one of the things though I still wrote down was like play with my dogs every day. And that was on, would be next to like a dream like be a millionaire. Like I wrote that down a couple times, right? So totally two separate things,
Listen,
right?
let's get real about it, yeah.
Two separate things, but I spoke at a conference once, and I was telling them about how that's really helped me shape like the life that I'm living on a day-to-day basis and my happiness. And the lady was like, I just really disagree with your 10 dreams. Like, playing with your dogs every day is not a dream. That's not something that you should write down. They should be bigger than that. And well, like to each, it was a good opportunity for me to say then don't write that down for you, like if that doesn't work for you, don't do it, but I don't have kids yet, and I'd like to one day. And I think that the habits I create playing with my dogs or interacting with my dogs, or is like building habits to have kids.
What happens is people become so slavish to that big goal that they forget that it's like, no, you have to have practical, realistic goals to capture the moment you're in. Like, who plays with their dogs? Happy people.
Yeah.
Sad people don't really play with their dogs. If they do, they're not sad that long.
Well, and I'm just not perfect because what I did yesterday was I sat on my laptop all day and answered emails, and I did not play with my dogs. And they were like in my face about it, right?
Like,
they wanted to be played with.
Dad. What are you doing?
Step your game up. I felt bad that way, but
yeah, they felt
there is a time in a season, and
yeah. And okay, so this is Daniel Hooper with the FNX podcast. We have Brigham Nielsen in with us. Brigham has a number of different things. He is a mindset performance coach.
Yeah.
He is also the assistant director of the Utah Summer Games.
Yes.
And he is also the director of the Iron Games, which we will be at when this is actually airing. We'll be there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're excited to have you.
Partying. It is going to be a blasty blast. I can already tell by the beginning of this whole thing that Brigham and I are going to have probably too much time to chat. So, Chris, you're going to need to really keep us tight on that time because Brigham is a busy man. I'm also a busy man. And Chris, you're a busy man.
I'll cut you off. I'll just be a jerk.
For a long time. Yeah, so just let me know.
We like long-winded people.
I just like to build long-lasting, connecting relationships.
It makes me feel good.
Yeah,
I like that. It's a good way to put it.
Long term.
Yeah, long-term friends. Did you see the new Suicide Squad movie?
No, I did not.
It's good.
Not like right up my alley in terms of style.
It's fair. The only reason I say that is that I can't take the word friend seriously anymore.
Oh, okay.
There's a giant shark who's like a child, like mentally he's like a child.
Okay.
And he's hilarious. Like that in and of itself is worth watching a movie.
Okay.
But like when he labels somebody a friend, it means he won't eat them.
And that just came out in theaters?
Or on HBO. Yeah,
okay.
You can watch it on
a little
HBO.
bit under a rock. I do have HBO though.
Yeah, see? Yeah, check it out.
Did you see 13 Hours?
Wait, is that like an older
movie?
movie?
That has the dude that's Jim in The Office.
No, I haven't.
And it's the
Benghazi. Right, Benghazi. Yeah, I have seen that. Bonkers.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's a movie that came out in like 2007.
That's a movie that like you can just be like grateful for all your own stresses that you have.
Oh my gosh.
You're not dealing with that.
Because you're not dealing with that. Preach that. So.
Yes.
We're here to chat.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
It's cool to get to have the guests here. I like that. Usually we can do a remote, and I have to watch them on the interwebs.
Yeah.
This is nice because I get to see your face.
Well,
I get to smell your musk.
And your guys' space here is pretty sweet. It's the first time here to the new FNX, setup, and this is an awesome place. It's cool to see you guys growing over the years.
No, we love it.
It's cool to see Adrian go from, Just Brute and other stuff that he was doing to now with FNX and then now with True and Train to Rise Up. It's awesome. I'm excited for you guys.
It is very exciting. Obviously, Adrian being my big brother, it's cool to watch him evolve and grow as a businessman. But it's also, I don't know, it's also something where it's like, now I get to be a part of this thing. And it's really hard to get on your brother's bad side when you're just checking the boxes and just following his orders. And I do that pretty well. I'm a good hype man.
Good job.
I have a series of questions for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
That we're going to dive into. You are going to be under the clock. You have to answer every question within 15 minutes.
Okay.
So
perfect.
If you,
that
but no shorter than
work.
14 minutes and 36 seconds.
That should work.
So we should be good. Right, that sweet spot. Got a 24-second lean.
I feel like we need a timer in here now, just like
Probably.
right
That
where
would
the
actually-
TV was.
That would be beneficial.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
for
like
me.
just go to those
Yeah.
wad timers. Yeah.
Okay, 2 minutes left. I am not even halfway through this.
All right,
Okay,
how do
I'm
I
gonna
wrap
move.
this up?
I'm gonna move.
This up? I mean, it'd probably be good for me too, because there are times where I'm like,
But then you could get interesting with like speed rounds.
oh yeah,
You could-
we
you know what I
talked
mean?
about
You
doing
could
that,
do
yeah.
new stuff. You
Yeah.
could do new stuff.
Do you listen to Chasing Excellence with Ben Bergeron?
I don't.
So-
I used to. That used to be one of my frequent ones. I don't really listen to it anymore.
So
but
I'm
great.
very much the same
It's
way.
great.
But their 2-minute drill, I appreciate
Yeah,
their
the
2-minute
2-minute
drill.
drill. Mhm.
Their 2-minute drill is like, even now, like I don't really listen to him much now. I appreciate the way he talks though.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
even if I don't agree with him, which I don't agree
Absolutely.
with all the things he says, but there are times where I'm like,
Yeah.
he sold me though.
Yeah, so I personally got really into podcasts about four or 5 years ago, and it was Ben Bergeron and Justin Sua.
Sua always.
That were
Justin
the first
Sua
two,
always. Yep.
and then Brew Strength, and then those three. Yeah, those were the first three.
Yep. Yeah,
For me.
Mike's so good, man. Gaz is so good. Okay. First question.
Yes, sir.
What exactly is a performance mindset coach?
So, a performance mindset coach would be someone that is going to coach and specifically work on the mind, right? Your mind's a muscle, and we don't always train it that way in that, when we're talking to our muscles, we don't just tell them to be stronger.
Mhm.
We go out and we train them, right? And so, I try to do that with my athletes. I work with Woods Cross football team and previously Highland football, and then have some athletes online. I've had businesses that I've worked with and just random athletes, people. I just love, and like I've already said, I love having deep, meaningful, connecting conversations, things that are built for the long term. And so, I'll pretty much talk to anybody about what they have going on in their life, how is it going, and what's holding them back, and like how can we figure out a solution to that. And sometimes that's just a couple text messages. Sometimes that's 5 minutes on the phone, and sometimes it's an hour call, and then sometimes it's this podcast, right? So I really enjoy doing that. Young in it, I left teaching teaching high school about 5 years ago to start that. Because I had coached football previously. I was a head football coach and assistant, and I love coaching football, but for the lifestyle that myself and wife wanted together, it didn't really match up. And that's a whole nother story, I guess, and like your marriage and like making that all work together, and like how do I be me and like stay true to who I want to be and the things I want to do, but also not be selfish, right?
100%.
And so,
you don't get to be selfish, right?
Right. And so it's really interesting to see how some things came about to be able to get back into football, like, when I got out.
Yeah.
And starting that business was one of them. And so I really do enjoy the opportunity to just still work with kids and with people on that. Because that's what I loved about teaching for 8 years was, you get kids that just, you were the only one that gave them that attention that they needed or that they wanted at some point, right? And it changed their life. And so I really enjoy doing that with people. I have always trying to get better. There's a lot of psychology involved in it, and I think some people try to get really fancy into that. Some don't. Somewhere in between. I would say like that's kind of my weakness that I work on as a coach or need to work on as a coach is that side of it. Okay. But in terms of meeting people where they're at, like you guys are talking about what you guys try and do with FNX and people's goals with fitness is like, I just want to meet so-and-so with where they're at. I want to be a non-judgmental soundboard for them.
Love that.
And I want to give them the opportunity to express what's inside of them to really come up with their own answer. Right?
Yeah. which is the psychological piece of it,
right?
Like from a psychology standpoint, that's when you go to a therapist, right? The therapist doesn't give a lot of answers, right?
Well, and I'm not a therapist. I've been to therapy before, and I know that's some people that's hard to say. I've been to therapy before and had a lot of value come from that, and also had experiences where I didn't like it at all. So
of course,
but I think that anyone could value therapy. Well, I mean, how is it not therapeutic to be able to just talk about things you don't know how to talk about with somebody that it doesn't really matter to?
Yeah, non-biased opinion.
Like, I don't care what you want to do. I don't care about the results that you're looking for. Does it make you happy? And that's what I would try and focus on as a coach.
Yeah, I like that.
And there's other, business coach. It could be more money or, and I have a different approach when I've worked with like a real estate business versus, a CrossFit athlete, right?
Of course.
But, are you happy? Like, are you doing what you want to be doing with your time? Are you talking and explaining things like you have to all the time, or you are forced to do these things, or is it,
I get to.
Yeah, or just like punt it.
Oh yeah, come on with that.
Get rid of it.
Yeah. It's Tim Ferriss.
I mean, even I don't want to sell. That's what you said, Chris, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really want to sell, but I'll do this for cheaper than what you're paying me to probably sell.
Yep.
So
Let's
I'm just
go.
going to punt that weakness, and I'm going to come and do this.
I'm going to come in. That's Tim Ferriss has a podcast. I don't know if you know who Tim Ferriss is.
I do know of him, but I don't follow his stuff.
So Tim Ferriss, like one of the things he says is it's either yes or hell no.
Okay.
And it's like I think of that all the time, where it's like you have to answer. If you can't answer it with an emphatic piece of energy, don't answer it.
Yeah, I need to work on that in terms of the saying no part.
Yeah. Which is, I'm glad you came here.
No. And this wasn't one of them.
I really wish I would have said.
But
no,
I do need to work
start
on some of that stuff.
No, yeah, it's tough, man. But I appreciate even the way you've kind of flowed things with what a performance mindset coach is specifically for you.
Yeah,
right.
That's for me, right? That's for me.
Yeah.
That is for me.
Because I think sometimes, especially this is a relatively speaking a newer field.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And it's like sometimes people can think that they have a silver bullet, and ultimately what you've said is, no, there's no silver bullet. I'm just me, and I'm a support system.
Yeah, and I think that might be the best way I've ever explained it for me before, because I think the easier way to explain it is like, or referencing somebody else, like, hey, do you know who Michael Gervais is for the Seattle Seahawks, right? And some people might know who that is. Some people might know who it is. It's like, I do what he does. It's like, well, I don't really do what he does because he's a freaking expert. Or Justin Sua, that's the person who I've mentored and have been fortunate enough to be on phone calls with and meet and have help from. And man, he's just an awesome guy. But yeah, in terms of him even coaching or helping me, it's just been listening to me. Where am I at? Where do I want to go?
Yeah.
And like give me some advice based off of his knowledge that he has. So,
and that's what it's always going to come down to.
Yeah.
And I think that's something. It's one of the things I appreciate about even here working here, and being a part of this group is it's like no one is going to ask you to be someone you're not.
Yeah.
And listen, we live in a world of fitness that 75, 80, 90% of it is be someone you're not. Put on a show, pretend.
Yeah.
And when you have someone who is a support system who's willing to say like, Bloomer, you're planted.
Yeah.
Game changer. It's a game changer.
And I mean, I think Adrian's, he may not call himself a performance mindset coach, but Adrian's always been, so invested in performance in general and in mindset. And I mean, he's a mindset coach, in my opinion, and versus like if I have a 20-minute casual conversation with him, or I have even a business meeting with him, right? Like he's always giving advice and doesn't take it personally if you don't like it, and just based off his experience. So it's just great to be around people like-minded like that in general.
Yeah, preach that. How did you get into something like this?
So I got into it because, again, the background of like running through the brick wall for a coach, right?
Yep.
And when I transferred from being a head football coach at Parowan High School and went to Cedar High School as an assistant, I started taking over what was called a learning strategies program.
Okay.
And this program was basically a dropout prevention program.
Oh, interesting.
Time.
Okay.
At the time, it was just giving kids a full schedule. Like they were putting it on a kid's roster to give them an easy A, and to give them time to work on other classes. And these kids, they didn't really have a lot of support at home. Typically, they didn't qualify for special ed, so they weren't getting extra services of help that they needed. So when I came in, it was very much, I was putting the hammer down. I came in middle of the year and, actually taking a role and doing these different things. And of course, a lot of the kids rebelled.
Of course.
Didn't like that. So I started to figure out that I couldn't just give these kids a tracking sheet for their teachers to sign, that they were being on time and crossing all the crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, right? So that's where I started to get into mindset, and that's where I started to get into conversations, how to have better conversations with kids, leadership conversations, and just the whys. Like the whys. I could do a better job getting a kid to buy in if I could sit down and have a conversation with him and ask questions, and me not interject my personal opinion or emotion on the subject.
Oh yeah, there you go with that.
And I was telling Nate on the way up, growing up here in Salt Lake, I remember with East and West High School and Highland High School is where I went. Like, we went around looking for fights on the weekend.
Of course.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
I remember doing that. So going from that to I'm 24 and I'm teaching kids in high school and I'm having to learn how to shrug off the F-bomb or the F-U.
Yep.
That was challenging.
Yeah.
To still want to help the kid after, right?
Yeah, to not cut them off, right? To not just be like, you know what?
Yeah, and getting over my own biases in high school, right? I had things like, if you wore Abercrombie and Fitch, I wouldn't be your friend, right? Like dumb stuff like that. So dumb. It's so dumb, but it was so true.
Did you pop your collar? Yeah, not gonna
yeah. Like I'm not hanging out with you if you did pop your collar.
Yeah,
I'm not.
You know. Which even now, if I see an adult man, I'm pop it for him.
But now it's just whatever makes people happy and builds self-esteem, and it's just not my business anymore.
It's what's the show? Letterkenny. Not my pig, not my farm, man.
Yeah,
I love that. I think about that.
I'm not perfect, but I try. Yeah, I really do try.
It's good.
We had a sign at the brewery that said, "Not my monkey, not my circus." So,
see,
that's a good one. And I've heard my boss tell me that in terms of so if you guys are going into Adrian's, it's you guys take monkeys in there, he should be trying to get you to take them back out.
Oh yeah.
Rather than him trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, right? Yeah. Depending on management styles.
But no, I think I like that too, because it's marriage. There's a really good YouTube video that's it's called It's Not the Nail. Yeah. You ever watch this?
I haven't.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. So we watched it. The guy who did our premarital counseling showed it to my wife and I still refer to it when she's talking to me. And it's basically this woman, she's talking to her husband, and she's like, there's just this pressure I feel in my head, and she's like, I have headaches and I'm in pain so often. And then it's draws back, and she literally has a nail in her head. And he's like, well, if you just pull it out of your head, it would work.
Yeah,
and
he's
she's
dying. He's
no,
dying.
It's not what I want you to say. She's like,
I don't want
need
you to fix
hear
it.
me. Yeah, I don't want you to fix it. It's not about the nail. And he's like, I feel like it's about the nail.
Yeah.
At the end of it, she's like, my sweaters get caught on things, and he's just like, oh please, let me get the nail out of your head. And it's like, no man, sometimes don't get the nail out.
So it's good and bad examples that remind me at least of 3 core values that I've had with coaching is listening, connecting, and empowering. Right. So
listening,
for me, when I was running a CrossFit gym, and that was part where the mindset stuff, in a sense, came from too. Is so I ran CrossFit Cedar City for about 8 years, and it was just listen, connect, and empower. You have to listen to people, these everyday people coming in that think they have a little bit of knowledge enough to question your programming or whatever, right? And some stuff is valid, but someone comes up to me and says, I just feel like we're not doing enough. We're not, why aren't we doing strength before we do 7 minutes of burpees, and different goals, right?
Absolutely.
But she, and her example is we should be doing bench press before we do 7 minutes of AMRAP of burpees. And I was just in my head, right? You're upset that you got a slower score on your 7-minute AMRAP of burpees. And this lady's 45.
Yeah.
And she started CrossFit 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And her score is not as fast, right?
Yeah.
And and you want me to put bench in before? Like, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I got to listen and I got to understand and try and figure out where she's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to connect it. How can I connect her goal to my goal?
Yep.
And then how can I empower all of us to like be a part of the solution?
It's good. Listen, connect,
because she's got to take. She's got to take control.
Yeah.
But like, I got to take control too.
Yeah.
If I don't, then nothing can change.
Well, and sometimes control is not like dragging in a direction, right? Mm-hmm. It's opening a door.
Yeah.
And being like, hey, I think we should go this way.
We both have responsibility to fix X.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, I get to deal a good bit with True. And I help a lot with like, even with simple stuff like our customer service.
Yeah.
And it's like when we get feedback on the programming itself, I bring it to Adrian every time. And it's like, hey, this person said this snatch complex it got boring, and I have to like tell him, and he's just like, all right. And I can see it like ruminating where he's like, all right, did they say why? Did they say like what about, like he wants more detail. Right. And it's like, no, they just said, well, that snatch complex was boring, and he's like, all right, I'll remember that. And it's like, okay, you have to be able to hear it. You have to be able to process it. I like connecting and processing would be kind of the same type of thing.
And even if you do, program the same thing the next week, but now is it the educational video before?
100%.
Or is it, hey, we're willing to die by this part of our programming not being the sexy part or whatever, right? Like, this is who we are.
Well, and you hit
or
it, though,
let's make a change.
But you hit it there, especially with programming. And we don't need to get too far in the weeds with this, but I think sometimes programming as a whole ultimately does come down to, does the athlete trust the programmer? Mm-hmm. And if they don't, that's the programmer's fault.
Yeah.
Because you can earn that trust.
Yeah, you can.
You either earn that trust or they go away. Those are your two options. And it's like, there's no harm in earning that trust. There's no harm in and how do you earn that trust? It's just, hey, why do I have to do 7 minutes of burpees?
Well, yeah, and you should be able to answer that.
If you can't answer it, then
you should be able to answer that.
Right?
Based off their goals. Yeah. That should make sense.
And based off of why the program is the way it is, like, and that's one of the beauties to me of Adrian and the way he does True is, like, I always joke that Adrian sees fitness the way Neo sees the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like, he just sees it differently. He sees a workout. He sees a collection of workouts differently than other people do.
Yeah.
I've never been around somebody that I can be like, hey, why did we do supinated bent over rows rather than snatch grip bent over rows on Tuesday? And he can have like a 4-minute answer for me. And I'm just like, so it just wasn't something where you're like, oh, we did supinated 2 weeks ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, which would be my reason.
That's
like,
just to switch it up.
Yeah. And so True is partnered with the Iron Games. We're doing some cool stuff. Okay. So we're going to move to a little bit about Iron Games.
Sweet.
We'll chat a little bit about that because I'm excited. I've been now, every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because how many years are we in now?
This is the third
year. So yeah, I've been every year. That's
man. Appreciate your support. Thank you.
I love it, man.
Thank you.
It's cool. It's such a blast. Cedar City's such a cool town.
Thank you. I think it's an awesome town. I'm really excited to just grow the community support locally there. With the move to our new space, just being in one location will really help. And yeah, we're really fortunate to be able to have some resources to do these things with really, I'm just so grateful for the Utah Summer Games and to be able to work there and the relationships that they have with the city and the county and SU to be able to host an event like this is pretty, exciting for me. Dream come true for me.
Yeah, I love that. How far out do you start planning for the Iron Games?
364 days. 365.
So have you done anything right now for Iron Games 2022?
I have specifically not done anything for Iron Games 2022 other than in my head. Yeah. Exhaust myself with conversations of how it needs to be better. Like a sickening amount.
Oh yeah, but that's
scary amount.
I understand. I
didn't understand until recently in that just it's dangerous. And I say, and like when I think more and more about the Iron Games and it being remember I'm talking about saying no to things. So I think after this year is over, I'm going to need to start shedding some other responsibilities that I have and just saying no to more things. But part of that is because I'm realizing how dangerous the Iron Games is. And I don't say that, I say that very, very humbly, and also very much of just my personality. Like for me, it's like highs and lows are so high and so low that it's dangerous for me.
Well, it goes back to what you had said about, see ball, get ball. Yeah. That's your commitment, right? So you played college football.
I did. I played college football.
You were like kind of like a will type linebacker, or like a more strong safety.
So I went down and played tight end, fullback.
Okay.
Yeah, tight end and fullback. And,
I don't know why I was thinking you played defense.
No,
you strike me as a defensive player. I think that's why.
I kind of have that little shoulder build,
Yeah, but I mean, tight end, fullback, like little H back going.
Yeah, so I played tight end and fullback. It was a great experience. Super blessed. My playing time or field time came from being the long snapper.
Oh, nice.
So I was the long snapper. That's what ultimately earned me a scholarship, and it was a great experience. But 4 out of 5 years was fighting for my job, fighting for my 100%, life, right? Yeah. So, well, even all years, just that last year, I kind of knew I was gonna be the guy.
Yeah, it was yours.
But yeah, I walked on the first year, no letter, never got a letter ever. Like
interesting.
Adrian got his, people get letters that's just hey, you should come to our college.
Yeah, I was getting letters, and I wasn't that good. So,
went down and asked to walk on, and then I got kicked off for doing stupid things, and then walked back on, made the team again, and then the next year the new coach came in to turn around. So we lost 18 games in a row. New coach came in. So now I'm another walk. I'm just a walk on again.
You're
right?
a walk on again.
I don't have a scholarship. First day of practice, he says, "Are you hurt?" No. Are you sick? No. Did you go on a mission? No. Pick your shit up. Yes, sir. And like that was my first interaction with the head coach. And from there, it was like every day you're showing up for work every day, and you better, rent's due, right? So then earned a scholarship, then got not kicked off, but they signed 24 freshmen. So my junior year, going into my junior year, it was like, hey, you're a great weight room guy. You're a great team player. We love having you, but we don't have enough spot for our freshmen that we signed. Yeah. So you can keep your scholarship. Like basically my character, and this is why I'm big on, right? My character and behavior, and my track record of dotting the I's and crossing the T's kept my scholarship. That's and allowed me to walk back on, because they can take more guys on when the fall starts.
Yeah.
And so I just kept going. And then the day before camp, they called me and said, hey, we just had a guy quit, and there's a spot open if you want to come back to camp. So why that was huge, right? Was
that doesn't happen.
I wasn't supposed to go to camp. I wasn't supposed to go to camp. And the guy they brought in from Michigan State my junior year to take the job, I beat out and took the job, and then started the next 2 years. And so so I think I don't remember why we got on that conversation, but
you illustrated the point I was going to make too, because you were talking about the Iron Games being destructive and being like hard on you.
Yeah.
And it's like you kind of established one of the things the point I wanted to make is you're kind of a utility guy. You're the guy where it's like, I am going, like, if you tell me I need to do something, I'm going to do it. And what I'm not going to do very well is divide up responsibilities. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to divide it maybe to people I trust.
Yeah.
Some.
So that being, so be clear, the Iron Games, if there's any, I can't do it without everybody else.
I know some of the people you work with. They're so good.
Like everybody everybody has such an important role.
But you're still going to internalize so much.
It doesn't happen without everybody. Like it doesn't happen without the volunteers. The Iron Games is way bigger than one person, and that's even part why I say like that dangerousness, and destructiveness for me of like it's for so many people, and for me, I'm a people pleaser, and so I just am trying to just make sure everyone's taken care of. That's the destructive or the dangerous part for me internally is I'm just trying to make sure everybody gets taken care of, because the worst thing that can for me is like feedback after the weekend's over that it wasn't the value that someone was looking for.
Yeah.
And that's a positive driver, but then there's the dark side of it too.
Yeah. So we just had our second elite training camp. So we bring elite ambassadors from all over the country, get to come train with us, hang out with us for the weekend.
Right.
Saturday night.
And I'm sure that is like, if I'm not, if you're an elite ambassador or someone that can come to that camp, like you've got to be coming. And I can attest to from when Adrian was doing camps with Brute, that like game-changing experience, lifetime-changing experience was huge in my development of doing that. So you guys have got to arrange your schedule to make sure you can make the next one for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And they're so good. What I tend to do though is by the end of Saturday night, I'm like, everybody's gonna ask for their money back. Like they hated this. Everyone's hated this. People were like crying at dinner, having a blast, loving everything. And I'm driving home Saturday night like, I failed.
Right.
Sunday morning, I'm driving and I'm texting Adrian. I'm getting ready to head down the road. I'm texting Adrian. I'm like, hey man, I'm really sorry. And right. And then I got people like hugging me afterwards. Like this was one of the best weekends I've ever had in my life. And what I did is because I was so wrapped up in their quote unquote happiness. Yeah.
Right? Well, and you internalize what you think needs to be done to make it happen, and when you don't do it, you're like, yeah, but they don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know. There were people that booked a flight before they left to come back for the next one.
That's true.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna fill our return spots and all that stuff, but it's still something where it's like it just makes me laugh. Where I'm like, oh no, I don't think everyone is the happiest they've ever been in their whole life, and so I think I failed them.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Because you like, it's almost like a little bit of narcissism, like where you're just like, I must. Like your world revolves around you and your pass or fail success. And so talk about destructive. It's like, yeah, it eats at you, man.
Yeah,
it eats at you. It will. Once you're able to control that, once you're able to identify it, though, then it can also become very freeing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think it's been huge for me getting into the performance mindset coaching before Iron Games started. It's been super helpful for me for sure to I try to practice what I preach, and it's been helpful for sure. I can tell the difference when I do it well and when I don't. So.
That's good. So in all of that, specifically to the Iron Games, what is the hardest part of the Iron Games?
The hardest part of the Iron Games is, I would say, communicating the things in my head, the big ideas, right? Just connecting all the dots. I would say managing my desires, goals to please people now and build long term. It's just that balance of that, you know, I'm not doing this to be cool for 1 year. Like we're not doing this to be cool for 3 years. And so I'm really big on the concept of macro, micro.
Okay.
If anybody follows Gary Vee, it's something he talks about. But I'm really big on that too. And what it means to me is that, you know, you are living a life that's building a macro vision that you have, right? And then on the micro level, you're putting your money where your mouth is, right? You're backing it up. You're doing what you say is going to help you get to the macro vision, 100%. But also then really stressing letting go of a lot of the micro that doesn't matter, right? So, you know, just for example, like we started, you know, in the hole 40 grand easy with the Iron Games, and we've come out of that so fortunate just because of everybody's support, athletes, volunteers, sponsors. And so luckily, we've come out of that, and vendors as well. But yeah, so I just try to balance that macro, micro. Like I know I have a big vision for where we want to go. And then how do I make sure that we're matching that on the micro aspect, you know, the daily process, and doing what's best in the long run. But, you know, you want to make people happy in the short run because that's what's happening now. So the hardest part for me is just managing people and making sure they're happy. Kind of the same answer to what I said before, but
I mean that's kind of what I figured. Is you've used the word a lot. Just talking about like happy.
Well, I just even look at your guys' input with FNX and your guys' involvement is like, I don't think that like financially it's been a knock out of the park hit for you guys and your involvement. There's some other vendors that it has been, like some merchandise vendors, and they've made out really big at the event.
Yep.
And so, but you guys are still involved, and I think in part because Adrian has an understanding, I've been able, luckily, to express a little bit or explain well enough like what the long-term goal is. And
well, and I'll even say this, just because on my end, what for me personally, when we sit in a meeting and we talk about the Iron Games, we talk about events that we're going to go to and things we're going to do. I have got to experience you as a host. I've got to experience your team, the individuals that I work with.
Yeah.
I got to experience Cedar City.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan
of.
But my thing that I keep coming back to is, I want us as a company to affiliate with high character. I want us to affiliate and work with people who it's like, I know that whether, like, if we go down on a ship,
yeah,
we're going down swimming.
Yeah.
We're not going to go down pointing the finger.
Right.
But if we succeed, we are going to grow. Also, not kind of propping ourselves up, but building each other up and building a healthy relationship.
Yeah. So what I think is awesome? It's like, are we allowed to like drop things on here?
100%. You can drop anything you want.
Things that may not have ever been. So this is one of the ideas in my head, right?
Let's go.
Okay. So Bishop Barbells come on as like an equipment sponsor this year,
which is awesome. Yep. Love to get a hookup from Bishop Barbell.
Oh my gosh, they are awesome.
Yeah.
Curtis has been great, and again, like, it's not going to be perfect. There's growing pains,
of course.
Flooring is getting, there's just things that like didn't go according to plan.
Yeah.
To what we wanted it to be. Maybe it's all going to work out. It's all going to be good, but COVID, shipping,
life.
Yeah, like, we can't get these here. We can get them here. They're going to be a different color. Like, well, okay, just tons of things, right? All the little details. But what I'm getting at is, like, I think it'd be cool to see some type of three-way partnership, triple-headed monster, Iron Games, FNX. So I guess quadruple-headed because of True now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, Bishop Barbell. And, like, how can we take over the West,
Yeah.
And, like, look at what Rogue's done in the East,
Mm-hmm.
in Ohio. And anyway, so I think that'd be cool. And when I say take over, here's what I don't mean is choke everybody else out.
Yeah.
I don't mean that.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about building a bigger building. So let's build a big building and like everybody can hang out in that building, or be in that building. And people would tell me that I have that. There's a dark side to that, or there's like a con to that. Like me, I'm willing to leave, I'm willing to leave some money on the table now to like, build for the, the long run. But I just think that'd be really cool. I think it'd be really cool to, for me, and for the Iron Games to help support other events.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be really cool to get to that place, to be able to do that, to grow and cultivate the community, because, how are people going to sign up for the Iron Games? Well, because they chose to do the Battle Forge Throwdown, and because they chose to do Battle of the Box, and they chose to do, the Fittest in Utah, and and their confidence was built up, whatever, right?
Yep.
And then they do intermediate in ours, and then they go from intermediate to ours, whatever. There's 100%. always a transition, and that's been the coolest thing about the Iron Games has been, I came down and I volunteered last year, and so I knew I had to like sign up. Or I came down, I watched, I'd never done CrossFit, I signed up at a CrossFit gym the next day. That's Braden Diddle's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
She came down the first year. She watched. She'd never done CrossFit. Signed up the next day and trained all year long for year 2. So that's the cool story. That's the cool stuff that we're looking for. So how can we do more of that? But like, how can FNX, the supplement company, be involved? How can True now be the programming? And then how can Bishop Barbell, and how can we just build the community all over, Idaho, Utah, Nevada?
I think what you're saying too is paramount, just in a sense of, when you bring in, when you start working with people who are like-minded, maybe not all of the same values, but at the end of the day, the value of, I do want to make the world a better place. I want to leave this place better than I found it. I am not about to be the guy who says that I need to be the king of the hill, because there isn't, like, and I don't know, like, I don't want to dive too deep back into mindset and whatnot, but I think that, like, Michael Jordan right? Michael Jordan's ruined a lot of dudes' lives.
Ooh, are you a Michael Jordan fan?
Oh, I love Michael Jordan.
Okay,
Michael Jordan's my favorite player of all time.
Okay,
But he's ruined a lot of dudes' lives because they're like, well, if I can't be Michael Jordan, then I suck. And it's like, no, you like, hey, bro, be Scotty. Be Tony.
That's a big conversation in terms of even just like life, right? Or entrepreneurship or a supplement company. Hey, so if you guys aren't as big as bodybuilding.com, are you a failure?
Yep.
No. Like, why can't we be self-aware that 0.0001% do that, you know? And like, but there's 70% of people that make whatever other $1 million revenue or whatever, and they live a great life.
We're doing A-okay.
And they live a great life.
That is not to say that there's not a hill to climb, but the point of it is, like, if your hill to climb is so focused on someone else and beating someone else that you are, like, honestly, you're cutting corners.
Yeah.
You what you've done, and that's why I say about Michael Jordan, because like Jordan was an alpha dog in a room of dogs. But it didn't change the fact that he was always that. There's too many people who think they're an alpha dog, and it's like, no, man, you are a support system. You're not the dog. You're not. Like, you don't pretend. Why do that to yourself? And it's like, maybe you can be in certain situations. Like, Michael Jordan had to go home and take a nap. Like, Michael Jordan still had to take a crap, man.
Yeah.
Like, let that, like, people are like, I'm a man all the time. It's like, nah, but you poop.
Yeah.
And sometimes you gotta rest. Sometimes you drool in your sleep. Like, it's okay. Everybody, I just wanted to interrupt really quick and let you know that we have just launched our 3rd iteration of Rise 45. This one we are titling Monster Mentality. And to go along with it, I actually wrote a book. It is a 45-day mindset journal with prompts, with challenges, and with some pretty interesting ways to unleash the monster within. Going along with this, there is a bundle that you can actually order for about $250. That's going to get you 12 different items. It is a great deal, and you're going to get entered into a chance to be able to win $5,000. We're going to build healthy habits. We're going to build a stronger mentality, and in that, we're going to have a lot of fun. The community is great. The group is awesome. Rise 45 Monster Mentality. Check it out ASAP. It starts September 13th, so it is ready for you. Now let's get back at it.
So something you said in there brought up a thought for me of like, okay, what is the big picture for, like, if anyone that, you know, is wondering, right, for the Iron Games, and that's okay, because people ask all the time, you guys gonna be a sanctional, or it's like, would love that. That would be cool.
100%.
Awesome, you know, but we're not right now.
Yep.
And we're not, you know, we're trying to grow to that capability, and that we have that capability to do that if that's the best option for us. And that comes out of, you know, a lot of things that are important to me, I hope, and, you know, are important to my staff, in that of, you know, making sure everybody has a good experience, and a variety of other things that are going to have to, but there's so many things we can't control right there, right? So are we self-aware that, hey, there are things out of our control in regards to whether we become a sanctional or not, and if that's an option that presents itself down the road, that's great. But we're just going to run the best competition that we can run ever, you know, in what we want to do. And that's, you know, that the person in the intermediate division feels like they got treated the same as the person in the elite division. Yeah, that's what we're going to try and do, and make sure everybody has that cool experience. So really excited for things like Tommy Marquez is going to be there, and
awesome.
So,
he's coming back.
And so he's going to interview heat winners, and like, he doesn't have the energy to like interview every single heat winner for 3 days by himself, right? And we have other things that are a priority for him to do as well. But I told him, I said, every division has to have at least one.
Love that.
You know, like someone like male intermediate, you know, women intermediate, like they all have to get interviewed after a heat once. Yeah. Not every person, right? But I'm have that opportunity. You know, that's important to me, and so excited to have him. Super pumped. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. He's coming back because he was there
year
first
one.
Year. Yeah,
he was there with the Buttery Bros, and they competed on Team of 3. Yeah,
yeah, I remember that. I remember meeting him. I remember meeting him and the Buttery Bros, and like in my mind, like I was just like, these guys are so much cooler in person than they are.
They were, yeah, for sure.
Like I was just like on camera, like they're awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I was just like, man, I like want to hang out with these guys way more now.
Yeah, so Heber was a couple years older than me in high school. He knew some of my brothers, so there was a little background there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then Marsden actually played with me, or I played with, either way. But we played at SU together for 1 year.
I didn't know that. I didn't know Marsden
played football.
Played at SU.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we didn't put it together until we actually met.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, we forgot. Yeah,
That's
like
hilarious.
we didn't.
Yeah.
And then we got in front of each other and recognized. It was like,
Like,
I know you. I know you.
Yeah, you bald too.
That's
That's right. That's right. Well, and I love that because you definitely bring a lot of energy and a lot of ambition and a lot of excitement, but it's grounded. So your head's not simply in the clouds, but you're not afraid to go there.
No, I'm not afraid to go there.
Yeah, we go there, man.
Which has not always been a skill of mine. So I just think that's so I think mindset stuff is cool and just growth in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you knew me, if you're an FNX ambassador and you like have these, you're trying to change your mindset, you're trying to work on certain things, be more positive, stuff like that. Like I used to not think big picture at all. Just I'm gonna go to work every day and I'm gonna work my butt off and I'm gonna go home and that's it.
Yep.
So it's cool to see yourself grow and change.
So I when I got married, my wife and I on our honeymoon, we went to Lake Tahoe. This is a little over 7 years ago, and we sat down for dinner. One of our first few nights, and I had asked her, "What's your ambition?" And my wife's answer was, "I don't have any." And I remember, like in that moment, like I remember being like, "Oh my gosh, how do you not have ambition?" Like we were like, it like opened a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Was like, "How is this even possible?" What?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was so confused, and then she like started to explain to me about why she doesn't have ambition. And she's like, "Listen, I'm a single mom with 3 kids. Like, what do you think I'm gonna have ambition? Like, I'm just trying to keep these kids alive."
Yeah, got it.
Right? Like, she's like, "I'm just trying to keep them alive. I'm trying to keep them sane. I'm trying to keep myself sane." She's like, my ambition is literally to survive the day. Yeah. And now, 7 years into our marriage, and she's coming to me with like, "This is what I want. This is what I want. And this is what I want." Like, she's bringing ambition to me.
It's cool.
Where it's like it's an evolution of your character. It's an evolution of your nature. Yeah. Now, there's gonna be times where we're not gonna be focused on the future,
right?
Because we're so reactive to the present. But like me entering into the situation, what it did is it did free her to then start dreaming,
right?
And awesome. In there's phases in your life where that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be able to dream bigger,
right?
Or dream more aggressively. Where did the name Iron Games come from?
So, credit would go to Katie Casper.
Okay. Yeah, Katie Casper did Rise 45 Summer Shred. I love Katie Casper.
Yeah, that would go to her.
She's cool people, man.
We were just in a text message, me, Laws, Pace, my boss at the Summer Games.
Yep.
Her, maybe another person, but Iron County. So Cedar City is in Iron County.
Yeah.
And I don't remember specifically what was said or like exactly, but she was the one that had the name idea.
She was like, Iron Games, let's go.
It's great. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect. It is the perfect name for that event.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good. That's
glad
good.
that we're glad we're matching the event to the branding or the experience to the branding for sure.
Yeah. Next weekend, or if you're tuning in this later, it will be this weekend.
Yeah,
supposedly right now, presently in this very moment. How much caffeine will you drink this weekend?
I'm really proud of myself that I bought a second energy drink and did not drink it before I came in here.
Ooh.
I have been up since 2:30. I've been up since 2:30.
No. Oh no. Okay.
And I'll be going to bed late tonight, and then I'll get up at 4 to train Drake Lewis, but who I think needs to join your guys' crew.
Okay. We can have that conversation.
So, an obnoxious amount. I pretty much live off of energy drinks and any protein bar that is handed to me during the Iron Games.
Yeah. I mean, when you were talking about destructive, right?
Yeah,
like I feel like
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So we had an elite training camp last weekend, and my Whoop band does not like the training camps.
Yeah, I'm sure.
My Whoop band is like, "Hey man, go back to bed," and it's like, bed at 2, up at 6.
Right.
Bed at 2, up at 6, and it's like, no, my body, and I'm not built for that. So
yeah,
and I don't do energy drinks, so I'll do some caffeine.
I like energy drinks. I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. I do like energy drinks.
Oh, well, that was the one. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. I thought you were. This whole time you've made it sound like you were perfect.
I like energy drinks.
But energy drinks has just ruined this whole thing.
There was someone like asked the other day, like, hey, to my wife, was like soda or juice, and she was like asking my opinion. I said, well, I said juice, and she's like, no, you'd be soda because of your energy drinks, and I was.
Yep.
But like I don't see it that way because I don't drink soda.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
don't drink soda.
I don't drink soda.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's a carbonated drink with caffeine in it.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Just has a bunch of extra stuff too.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's all right. It's okay. I'll give you a bottle. I have a bottle downstairs in my office of React. It's our nootropic.
Ooh.
Maybe help.
I have not had that.
Yeah. I'll give you the bottle. I think you'll like it. It's a good little. It doesn't have the crash like you'll get from caffeine.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times what happens with caffeine is you drink a lot of caffeine and then later you need more caffeine.
Yeah.
This is something where like I always frame it as it's like Adderall without the bad stuff.
Yeah.
So you know,
Gotcha.
without the come down, it doesn't make a rock inside your brain. So this is just more like mental clarity. I'm a writer. When I write, I like to take it, and then 2 hours later, I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever wrote in my life.
So yeah. Okay. Well, I could use some of that.
Yeah.
I really like the burn.
Yeah.
Which is interesting again, right? Like I don't have an interest in drinking a soda, but I really do like the burn of the energy drink.
It's so funny.
So I got to give a shout out to Noko.
Noko does a good
who's
job.
Who's going to be at the Iron Games, and they've got some no caffeine ones.
Ooh.
So I'm going to just try and, pound those in the afternoon to keep me going.
Yep. Yeah, you can have a bottle of React in your pocket too.
And the React. No, I would love to try that.
Like
I would
Skittles.
love to try that. Yeah. So it's okay. I didn't realize that's what it was.
Yeah, it's just a nootropic.
Cool.
It's just like I'm telling you, like the way I always frame it. When we had our elite training camp, actually, we had a lot of athletes talk specifically about how we actually need to market it better.
Well, why don't we do a recap after the Iron Games, and I'll come on and like market the shit out of it.
I love this idea. This is so far.
And we'll talk about how well the Iron Games
favorite person
went
ever.
In your eyes, and how bad it went in my head.
This interview almost ended with the non-perfect and energy drinks, and now you're his favorite person again.
Yeah.
So we went full circle, and it's great.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Perfect.
I'm a fickle beast. I am. I'm a fickle animal. How much do you sleep at night during the events? Because you got what, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and basically Saturday night, right? So Saturday night's the come down. But
standard has been I don't go to bed until after midnight, and I get up as early as 4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it just depend. It'll depend.
Mm-hmm.
It depends if I have my shit together.
Yeah.
Which is fair. The first year, I was drawing on a map of where, because we were in 6 different locations, right?
Yeah.
So the first year, the midnight, I'm drawing on a map where the vendors are all going to be the next day, and then emailing it out and like, hey, here's where you are for tomorrow. So I don't have to do that. I know I don't have to do that. But what's going to come up that I don't know
come up,
that I'm like, okay,
something's going to come up.
Something's going to come up.
Something always comes up. It makes me think of when the first time that I went down, and I went down with Brute, and it was me, Adrian, Matt Bruce, and Nick Fowler in a room with you, and I think it was just you and Laws.
Yeah.
And it was talking about the clean ladder.
Yeah.
And like you're like, hey, you guys, Brute guys, you guys are going to do a clean ladder before everyone else jumps in.
Right.
It'll be really cool. Yeah. It'll be entertaining. And I'm like looking at like Matt and Adrian, and I'm like, hey, you guys will have fun. Like, that sounds like a good idea for you guys. At that point, I hadn't lifted a barbell in almost a year. So I'd been doing exclusively.
So at that point, you didn't know you were getting wrapped into it.
I had no idea. So I was just like, Adrian's going to have fun.
Yeah.
Adrian's going to put on a show.
How did you get wrapped into it later? Because I remember you did it.
Yeah, Adrian was like, yeah, you're going to join us.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm good. And Matt's like, I'm only doing it if you're doing it.
Right.
And I'm like,
or else they can't
one of us is a weightlifter. The other guy has 25-pound dumbbells that he's using for his home gym programming. Right. And that's it. And he's like, just cap out early.
Great. You guys did great.
Yeah. I had a PR.
Yeah.
I was like,
awesome.
That's great. Well, a PR from like for years, but yeah, it was definitely.
Isn't that show like good, bad day?
Man.
Like you can always, you can PR on any day. You don't have to, right? That's not always the most important thing, but you got to remember, like if you've had days when you didn't feel good, you weren't 100% and you played well.
100%. And the beauty of it is, the thing that I have appreciated the most about the Iron Games is the energy.
Good.
That is something that I've been to a lot of competitions where it's just like, hey, it starts at 6 and it ends at 6, and the next 2 days later, and it's like, let's just get to the end of this darn thing.
Good. So that makes me really happy because I don't think that we've nailed that out of the park yet.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but
what are you thinking? What are you thinking I mean by that?
Well, I think you're saying like, there's a lot of room to improve.
Yeah, so like we've had all the different locations, and so like and again, my expectation. So clean ladder, right? We closed off Main Street. There was supposed to be a stage there. There was supposed to be a band there. There was supposed to be a ninja obstacle course. There was supposed to be a rock climbing wall. There was supposed to be, and none of that was there, right? But nobody knew that. And then the city, I thought, was going to get a little bit more involved in terms of recruiting and bringing people down, like from the, so anyways, it wasn't what I envisioned in my head. It still was awesome. I still went to Wadapalooza and people said, "Hey, you're the competition that had Main Street Club." And so that was cool. But yeah, that's and then even cool. In the football field, on the collegiate football field, it's just so big.
Yeah.
So I am really excited because going into the arena, it's going to compact everything. And so I'm excited to see how that energy now translates to being more on top of people.
Because a lot of the events I've been to, one of the biggest difficulties is the spectator piece.
Yeah.
Because the athletes are going to bring the energy, but the spectators will echo that energy, and they are going to make it like it reverberates much stronger.
Sure.
And an arena is far more conducive to spectators,
right?
Rather than, I mean, downtown was awesome, but like the football stadium, it's like they're distanced,
right? Yeah,
like they're put away.
It's just, and we're just not that big yet. We're just not that big. So, but the big goal is like we go back to the football stadium in so many years.
Yep.
That whole thing is packed, and then a 30-second walk east of that is the Centrum basketball stadium. And so like,
I know what you're talking about.
You saw where the athletes the very first year ran on the grass, and we opened up for them to come into the stadium.
Yep.
And so there's this, like, we could have this basically big track,
yep,
2 competition floors at the top, and then
so cool.
2 runways of like vendors and different, all this fun stuff going on the grass. And like, that's really the long-term vision of that could just take over for a week.
That's good.
And just,
that's good, man.
Yeah, have a whole big festival there. So we'll see. That's the plan, though.
Well, I mean, and I like the idea of, being partnered in and being attached to the hip. How we doing on time, Chris?
Oh, we're still killing it. We're about an hour in.
Okay, sweet. That's good. I literally, you could have told me we were 15 minutes in. You could have told me we were 2 hours in.
Okay.
Like, I was just like, hold on.
Yeah, we can keep this thing going for a little while.
Aren't questions? Or
what? So
how are we doing?
Okay, well, I'll give you some feedback here. This is great radio. You do a fantastic job at answering the questions before I ask them.
Great.
So
it's fantastic.
You turn.
We didn't rehearse any of this. I swear.
No. So I have 16 questions.
I don't even have a cell phone number.
It's true.
I don't even have.
We just DM each other. Everything, all the good stuff's done on the DM. So, and my opinion though is it's something where it's like, you kind of check the boxes that I need. You answer everything. You're thorough. One of the hardest things is when you interview somebody, when you have to ask them why.
Yeah.
I don't like asking why. So when I say, like, what's your favorite part? What's the hardest part? And you're like, hardest part is managing all the people.
Yeah, and then you go, why? Yeah. Yeah, I'm an open book, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a pretty much. Just say I'm an open book. Just leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite Iron Games memory? Up until this point.
My favorite Iron Games memory. That's really hard.
I know.
It's really hard.
That's why I'm a pro.
I think there's a ton. So one that just stuck, probably one of the first ones that stuck out, is just various conversations that I would have with athletes or volunteers, like about their life during the Iron Games.
Yep.
That's been, I mean, those are always great experiences that I have. Yeah, I just really value that.
Yeah.
Even my staff members, I have a lady whose first husband passed away in the military in Afghanistan. And I believe that was like 12 years ago, 12-ish years ago. But yeah, had no idea, right? And she comes, she spends her money to come out here on the weekend and help me out for free.
Yep.
And like learning those things and then like being able to connect with people that way. In general, those are my favorite experiences. Probably one of my most favorite, like, memorable ones that other people would have seen, and you can see it, I think, even on the website, is Jeremy, forgetting his last name, but Jeremy, he is out of Branded One CrossFit in Vegas, which is a...
Dean?
Yes.
Jeremy Dean. Yep.
Yes, Jeremy Dean.
I like Jeremy Dean a lot.
Great guy.
Yep.
So he is out of Branded One CrossFit in Vegas, a great CrossFit gym. They're all about getting free memberships for veterans. Love their mission and what they do down there.
Yep.
him and Juan Cruz, who is coming back again.
Is he awesome?
Yeah, so he's from Mexico, and they said they're bringing a whole big crew this time. So
I really like that.
so really excited. He's always happy. He's always happy.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm, in the middle of putting out fires like all day, every day, and I get to see Juan, and he's just happy as can be.
Joy.
What is our language thing on here? Like PG-13? Is it like
worst case, I'm just gonna cut it. So we would just block you out. So we just go like,
okay.
Hoo-da-da!
Okay,
And that's
so
like where the
he is the happiest shit guy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I've lots of fun sound effects, so I can just do whatever.
Yeah.
Unbelievable how happy he is, and just so grateful.
Mm-hmm.
It's that reminder of like in America we're a little selfish and we're a little like underappreciative of what we have, because he's just so grateful to be there, so grateful for everything.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So him and Jeremy, they were doing the event that was the sled push and burpee box jumps.
Okay.
And I believe sled push, burpee box jumps, I think it was that one, or it was the farmer carry with a row and jump rope. But they were both having to sprint back to the end zone.
Yep.
And they both tripped.
They both fell.
They both straight up tripped.
Yeah.
Like legs gave out, tripped.
Yeah, because they were obliterated
at different times, and I don't like this is I don't remember who won. Don't remember and don't care, right? Have no care in the world of who won.
That's funny.
But
I felt like when you started that, I felt like I remembered who won, and now I don't.
But the fact of the matter is that both of those guys tripped, and both of those guys got up as fast as they could and gave every single effort that they had to finish, and they were pumped for each other.
That was so good.
I was super pumped.
Yeah.
That was probably like one of my happiest moments, and hugged both of them after, like just to see that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I like that. I like that. It is definitely you have a cool collection of athletes, which is I think is like a bit of a like not a rarity, but is like a bit of a treat.
Yeah.
Because you do have people who it's like it's to me it's like it's the purest form of CrossFit. So CrossFit in a lot of different ways, like the broification of CrossFit can sometimes be negative.
Yeah.
And in this situation, it's like but like. This is like old school leave ego at the door CrossFit. This is like bonding CrossFit. This is, hey, like we're just going to wreck shop CrossFit and we're going to enjoy it together.
Right.
So I love that. I think that's good stuff. That's good stuff, man.
Thanks.
That's a good answer.
Thank you.
That's a good answer.
Thank you. I think you have like someone like Michelle Palmer.
Yep.
Games athlete.
Yep.
4 kids.
Yep.
35. Solid abs.
Yep.
And she's winning, and then you have Chase Merrill, completely opposite life.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
No kids, not married, young guy,
young
works
guy.
here.
Yep.
You would think or assume has the perfect schedule.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
There's so much more that goes into that.
No,
That's an obvious assumption and judgment.
That's perfect
right?
schedule. For
but
Chase.
he wins. Like, and then you have, Kyler and Paul Boucher.
Yep.
Dad with his son, and then the young kid, and like Paul didn't sign up the first year because he was just scared. Just scared. Bottom line, scared.
Yeah.
Signed up the second year, scared as can be. Sees people that are signing up in his division and is like thinking he's going against Matt Frazier's. He messaged me. He's like, I think I'm going against 9 other Matt Frazier's.
That's so funny.
He's like, I know I'm not, but I think that.
But that's how I feel.
And
right now.
And he still came and did great and
did awesome.
So that wide variety, I think, is what you're saying of the like truest form of CrossFit.
Yeah.
And we want that. We want everyone to come and just have such a valuable experience, no matter where they're at.
That's the word right there. Valuable experience is a good one. Yeah. All right. If someone is looking to create a competition similar to the Iron Games, what are some quick pieces of advice that you would have for them?
Yeah. So first off, like, please reach out to me anytime. I'm
nice.
super glad to help.
We got his IG up on the screen too.
Yeah.
Just tell him which IG is as well.
Anything. If any, like I said earlier, I love to talk to people. You can reach out to me for anything.
Yep.
But specifically to competitions like Fittest of Utah, talked with them this year. Talked with the guys at OUR. They do a bunch of cool stuff. Wadsomniac.
Yep.
And I think they're really looking to up their game. I don't know what their goals are with their competitions, but I think they're really looking to up their game in terms of, their ultimate goal to create more awareness for, child trafficking.
Yep.
And so it's been cool to work with them in some ways with that. And so, yeah, just reach out anytime. Specific tips are, if you are the person wanting to like start it, you don't know everything and you can't do everything, and so like you better start getting people on board that have skill sets that you need. So you got to be self-aware. Like I, like I'm super happy to like bust my butt and move equipment and all those things like that, right? But like don't ask me to like put the rig together, right? I'm not.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Not doing that.
Yeah.
So figure out those kinds of things. I'm happy to do whatever needs to be done on emails and computers and things like that, but I'm not trying to make the detailed minute by minute schedule that has all of the breaks and then has, like there's just so many.
That's Laws, right?
Laws
is that guy, right?
Laws has been doing that in the past, and now we kind of had a team effort this last year in regards to just learning about more and more logistics. So we really tried. We ran our volunteers into the ground the first year.
That's fair.
We didn't mean to, like, just the deal. That's what happened.
Yep, I get it.
So just every year we try to, okay, how can we improve the volunteer experience? Make sure we don't run them into the ground.
Yep.
They have breaks.
Yep.
And so Laws has really helped with that. Jason Giannetti, Andrea Giannetti, they just got married.
Yep. Love them. Love them both.
And then just everyone voicing opinion of like, we did a pretty good job helping out equipment volunteers, making sure they got more rest, making sure that heats and workouts. So this is a tip, right? Like it's super cool to do cool workouts.
Yep.
But you got to have the manpower behind it to fill it, right?
Yeah.
So you learn, and we've learned, just through interacting with bringing more people that have go to the CrossFit. We have, I think, 7 or 9 people that have been in the CrossFit Games and like been on staff there.
Yep.
So you just learn like how can we program events to where like it's easier for the judge to flow? How can we program the equipment for this event where like we're gonna change it for 6 different divisions, different divisions, change the weight, change the standard, change the how do you make that easier? Like we, for example, when we started, based off the competition we wanted to run, we knew that ring rows was not a thing that we could do.
Yeah.
You got to take time to adjust
every
single strap.
That's a lot of logistics.
So just ring rows doesn't happen. So if like if you've wondered in the past, like, well, why didn't they scale down the ring rows? It's like logistically we can't do that.
Yeah,
we just can't.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to discriminate. It's just a
but it's just
thing.
when I think that's kill your darlings. It's being willing to put things on the floor and say like, okay, this one can't go.
Well, and then that could change too down the road. So for example, I've had people hit me up about doing like an adaptive division, which I think would be amazing. We had an athlete. Was it last year? No, I don't think he competed last year, but he's competing this year. Taylor Bird.
Okay.
Out of Wasatch.
Nice.
He's at the same gym that
Carson and those guys.
Nick, I can't remember her name. She's an FNX person.
Wait, you talking about Natalie?
Yes, Natalie.
Oh,
Natalie
yeah, so that's in
Mickelson.
Yeah, Mickelson.
Heber,
Yeah. Yep.
So same gym.
Gotcha.
Taylor's a good dude, but has like I believe no fingers and just his thumb.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe one finger.
Okay.
But yeah, so we'd like to add that stuff. But again, not saying it's not possible, won't ever happen, but gotta make sure we got some things in place.
But logistics,
yeah,
right? Like just the overall service, because you're not just servicing the athlete, you're not just servicing the spectator, you're also servicing the volunteer.
Well, yeah, and then I got to be willing to maybe take an L on that.
100%.
Like the first year we're gonna lose.
Yeah.
And just in terms of like not knowing how to make it the best experience. So how do I make sure that we take an L, but like a graceful L to move forward?
Yep.
Because they're saying,
Take
well,
those
like
lumps.
here, this is what happens at Wodapalooza. It's like, well, Wodapalooza's been going for 10 years. They've been doing adaptive for 7.
Yeah.
Like they've got some experience.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yep. That's a good point. Well, maybe that's who you talk to. Talk to our boy.
Tell Adrian to hook me up with Chief Keef.
Yeah, with Chief Keef, man.
I'm like being sarcastic, but I'm being serious.
I got you. I'll talk to Adrian about it.
Like hey, I need mentorship.
Yeah, get some direction. And that man's a man for mentorship.
Absolutely.
Too.
I've talked to him a little bit. Good dude for sure. Busy guy.
Oh, man.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, I can't even.
I think I know, but I don't.
Yeah, like we talk about caffeine. It's like I want to know what powers that man.
Passion and gratitude.
Yeah.
No, like right?
Oh yeah, you talk to him.
It has
to.
You
hear it in his
There's
voice,
only so much caffeine you can intake.
Well, after a while, like you become like Weekend at Bernie's. Like you just become a corpse that's just propped up and is just rolling around. It's like if you don't have joy, like you've
got to love what you do.
You have to
love
and
it.
Especially like with the amount of demands that he has and the expectations that he has, and the people, the personalities that he really has to manage I don't feel like are quiet. They're not
Right.
easy. You know, they're not low maintenance.
Right.
Okay.
Not at all.
Chris,
What's up?
do you have a question for Brigham?
A question?
Do you have any question in particular that maybe you always ask?
Oh man, put me on the spot. Yeah. So Brigham, outside of, let's say, football and fitness, because that's really
what we've talked
what
about.
we've talked about. Is there something else that you geek out on?
Yeah,
something
Nate
that
already
you
knows what I'm gonna
nerd
say.
out on. All right.
Nate, what do you think I'm gonna say? We talked about it on the way up here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What? Come on, Nate. What is it called? Yeah, it's 3 letters. It is 3 letters.
Okay.
WWE.
NFTs. NFTs. I'm super into NFTs.
You're into NFTs. So
I won't claim that I'm an expert, but I'm super into NFTs.
Okay.
Why? Tell me what an NFT. First, tell the people what an NFT is.
Okay, so you know what a blue check mark is on Instagram.
Yep.
You know what it is when someone buys a pair of Jordans and they never wear them.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
NFTs are no different.
Okay.
No different. People pay for status. People pay for tangible items that represent or give them the opportunity to represent who they are and what they value.
Okay.
NFTs are no different. It's a non-fungible token. So it's an online token, some card, visual card. And people want to say, well, why would I pay money for a JPEG? Well, because people already do.
Yeah.
Bottom line, people already do.
So true.
And the same reason that people buy cards, buy paintings, buy
any of it.
buy shoes, buy
everything's virtual now too. So
yeah. And so it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And you guys
NFTs.
should be doing it. And I would love to somehow be involved. I don't know how to be involved, but I would love to be involved in FNX and True creating NFTs.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
We'll have to have that conversation. I like that idea.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a no-brainer.
I love that. That's something that you're just
it's
totally
a no-brainer for
dived
Adrian.
into.
It's a no-brainer for Adrian.
Yeah.
If I am Adrian Conway, I'm creating NFTs of the companies and of myself.
Yeah. Okay. NFTs.
That's great. I love it.
Yes.
It's a good answer.
It was not the answer I expected, so
No,
I
I'm
appreciate
sure
that.
it wasn't.
And I can hear it. I feel like
I'm
we
sure
may
it
have to,
wasn't.
that when we do the next one with you, I think we're just going to have to do a deep dive.
I
Oh,
have
there's
one.
passion there for
I
sure.
have one.
Yeah.
I bought one.
You bought a podcast?
No, I
You
bought
bought
an
an
NFT.
Yeah, what did you buy?
I bought a V-Friend. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea.
A V-Friend is the NFT brand or a brand that Gary Vee started. So it's basically his Disney. So macro, big picture, he wants to build this into the next Disney.
Interesting. Okay.
So, but short term, what does it do? I get entrance into his conference the next 3 years. So that's right. So with NFTs, you have to you have to be self-aware.
Yeah.
Right. So, you wouldn't buy an NFT that I might buy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might buy an NFT that is who's your favorite comic book hero?
Batman.
Batman. So when is that Avengers?
It's not
No,
Avengers.
that's not
No.
no.
Justice League.
When the Justice League,
Uh-huh.
DC.
Yep.
So when DC Comics
Yep.
comes out with NFTs, they're gonna have one of Batman,
Okay.
and it's gonna be cheaper now than it's going to be in
In 20 years.
20 years.
Yep.
Just like a comic book
Just
that
like a
someone's
comic book would
saving,
be.
right?
Yep. Yep.
And so you're gonna want to get in on that.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to do some research.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, because you don't care about that
I'm not
stuff.
interested.
Yeah.
But we've just made a connection that when you do decide to do that, you'll hit me up and you'll say, I'm getting this one and you should get that one. Because I don't.
Yep.
Okay. So, but I had to decide with my NFT, am I the kind of person that would pay money to go to this conference?
Yep.
Do I value that?
Yeah.
100% I value that. The FNX tribe, elite ambassador, retreat and all. I'm that type of person that I grow through those experiences. The Iron Games is one of them, right?
Yeah.
It's an experience of the weekend that I grow through. So, I basically paid to go to a conference, and all of the benefits that come with that NFT long term are just a bonus. So you know what I mean? It's just a bonus.
I like
Because now the digital asset can actually be valuable later on. Plus, also, NFTs are typically made through the blockchain, which I don't know If you guys know anything about
I don't know a lot about the blockchain. I've heard a lot of the blockchain.
The blockchain is like an online ledger, right? That can be written and it's like proof that like I don't need to now. If you're going to sell me your home, I don't need to go to the bank. So long term, that's where they think that that's going.
Yeah.
I don't need to go to the bank to confirm that the money's there because you have a blockchain of your actual home contract that shows me that I can just have the home. So with that being said, when you create NFTs, like if you guys did one for FNX, for example, let's say you did 20 of them, only 20. And what that meant was that if somebody bought an NFT, that they would get 10% of all, huge number, of all your future sales. How much are they willing now? How much are those 20 people now willing to pay for that price? So let's say you guys need like a bunch of cash up front. You could do that.
You do that.
We're gonna have 20 NFTs. You guys, can buy these things. You get to come to all the elite ambassador camps for free. Like, I'm giving all this information for free, these ideas, right? Okay. So, so, and then they'll buy it, and then it's like, and now I get 0.1% of revenue, it's a royalty, right? For the rest of their life.
Interesting.
See, the reason why I like this question so much is because we get answers anywhere from Star Wars to NFTs to Florida beaches, right? Like, I mean, we've gotten a little bit of everything, which is just so fantastic. Good. I love it. Good. That's why I love that question.
Yeah. So, and another example would be like, some company came out with international soccer player NFT cards the other day. I was looking on there, and like most things were out of my price range currently. But there were some things that were, and I just couldn't pull the trigger because I don't know the space well enough. Like, so you got to be willing, just like any investing, right? Like, I have money. I'm willing to lose it. Right? Like, I'm okay if this goes to zero. I'm okay. You got to decide that. You got to understand that. And then do you know it? Like, I couldn't. Lionel Messi, it's going for 25 ETH. Like, so like thousands of dollars.
Man,
I don't have that. And I'm not building that. But then some dude's name that I can't pronounce is like $1,000. I just can't make that pull right there. I don't know if that's going to make
you don't
me
know
any
if
money.
he's
but
that guy,
if it's like an NFT of the Eagles rookie card, Jason Avant, like, I'm buying that tomorrow. If I can afford it.
Devonta Smith, that's probably an NFT worth owning, right?
Yeah,
that's good. All right, final question.
Yes.
How do you want to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered that I was just, let's see if I can say this very simply, not long. I would like to be remembered for being someone that helped people to get through their own problems that they didn't think they could get through.
Boom. That's it. That's so good.
I also like that question because we've gotten a few answers like that, like very simple, like one sentence, just this is how I want to be remembered.
I think you can often tell if someone's thought about it.
I've thought about it
by how short their answer is.
I
think the shorter the answer, the more you think about it. So it's a great answer, man.
Thank you.
Well, in that, I appreciate you coming in here, man. I appreciate you jumping in with us.
Thank you.
Hanging out, having a good time.
Grateful to be here for sure.
Yeah, you are definitely you're a delight to be around. Every time I've been around you, man, you bring a lot of energy. You bring a lot of joy. There is a living life with gratitude about you that is very approachable, very likable, and also is just something that's infectious.
Thank you. I think it might say this on my Facebook still. I'm not quite sure. It was a long time ago. But if you are not a better person from meeting me, then I didn't do my job.
I think that in that.
So you can check that.
Anybody who is going to come out of this podcast, I think they're going to feel better too, man.
Hopefully.
I do. So do you have any parting thoughts as we part out here, man?
No. I am extremely grateful to be here. Thank you to FNX. Thank you to Train to Rise Up, and just appreciative of how my relationship over the last 5 years with Adrian Conway has grown, and just appreciate him and you guys in general, and super grateful to have your guys' support and involvement.
He's a good boy
in the Iron Game, so thank you.
Love it, man.
Go ahead and throw out your name and IG.
Yeah, Brigham Nielsen. Instagram is at Brigham Nielsen. Nielsen, there's a lot of different ways to spell it. It's Nielsen.
E-N. Hear that?
Yeah.
Make sure you write that one down.
Or go to the Iron Games or at the Iron Games.
At the Iron Games too. Yeah. Yep.
I'm not on that. I don't currently run that.
Yeah.
But
you need
but
to
that's
get in
the
touch.
main topic.
But if you
go
need to get
follow.
In topic, yeah, we're good. All right, Chris. Anything else from you?
Nope. I think that's it.
Thanks,
I think
guys.
we're good. We got it.
Thanks, you guys, so much for checking in.
Appreciate
As
it.
always, we will see you next week.
I don't think I looked at the camera at all.
That's all right. I'm handsome, so you can look at me.
We're
having a conversation. We're just a couple of bros hanging out, arguing,
conversing,
chilling, being besties.
Fly, Eagles, fly.